Um, Hi, everybody. This is Cheryl with the Chattanooga Yoga Center in Ottawa, and we're talking today about the upcoming restorative immersion that I'm hosting March 15th. We've got a bunch of questions. Rebecca's got a bunch of questions that people submitted or that she's come up with, or the things that we thought you might want to know about the restorative um, so that you can make a decision whether you're coming or not, what to expect if you come. So, hi, Rebecca.
Hi everybody. Our first question is, who is this for? What type of yoga student would benefit from this class?
Perfect question because it's really not. I've done restorative teacher trainings in the past, and it's not really a teacher training. This is for the average person who has maybe taken a restorative class, maybe once or twice, and they want to know more about why this process, why this class is so rich, why this practice is so nourishing. They want to know more so they can maybe recreate the practice at home. Or the next time they take a restorative class somewhere, they'll have a richer experience because they'll understand what the process is more. So it's really more for the yoga student as opposed to the yoga teacher. But if you've never done a restorative class, it's a great place to start too.
Right. But if I have done restoratives, I'll still get something out of it, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've got people that are coming that have been to restorative for years. They're going to get more of that deeper dive, more of that understanding of the central nervous system, of our connection to breath and body, and how that connects to mind and spirit. And just why does restorative work in that manner? So, yes, absolutely. Maybe people have done it for years and years and really enjoyed it and didn't know that this is part of a bigger practice of knowing yourself.
So when I come to the class, what can I expect? What's the day gonna look like?
So the day's going to start right at 9 o'clock, and I'm pretty. I may run over in my classes, but I'm a pretty much stickler for starting on time. So we'll start right at 9, and we'll do a little intro and talk about a few things. Then we're going to jump right into our first three poses. So we're going to do three poses practices that will highlight what we're going to talk about later on. After we do the practices, you'll be given an opportunity to take a break and then journal if you want. I'm giving everybody a little journal notebook, and you'll have handouts. So you'll have an opportunity to journal your experience. Don't freak out. We're not asking for the hi kitty
Sorry.
kitty kitty. We're not asking for you to write a novel or some deep felt heartfelt thing. You may never even read it again or read it out loud. That's fine too. But sometimes there's a connection that we make when we journal about something, right? So maybe you come up and you just do bullet points. This is what you felt physically. This is what you thought. This is what you liked. This is what didn't work for you in that particular process. It just gives you some insights into your experience, right? You're not going to be asked to read them out loud unless you absolutely want to, in which case, yay, but you don't have to, right? They're for you to reflect on later. And then we'll do some more lecture. We're going to talk in the morning about the central nervous system and why restorative works so well to quiet our central nervous system. And what does that mean? You know, we talk a lot about central nervous system and quieting the central nervous system. What does that mean? So we'll talk at length about that, and we'll also talk about breath practices and the connection of breath to our central nervous system. There have been some wonderful studies that are, you know, more and more and more studies coming out, but a new one recently talking about the neurons in our brain, in the brain stem, and how they're connected directly to our breathing practices and our breathing patterns. And it is the only autonomic system that we can control. right? So learning to control and repattern your breath work makes a huge difference in making it through your day sometimes. So, and it's a healthier practice. Yes, we're getting oxygen every time we breathe, but if you're not breathing efficiently and you're not breathing in a relaxed manner, it may not be the healthiest breath you can do. So we're going to connect the breath to the movements and to being quiet. And then we're going to take a lunch break. In about 45 minutes, there's plenty of places in and around Ottawa to go and grab a bite, but feel free to bring your own. I do not have a fridge, or access to a fridge. So if you're going to bring something, bring it that needs refrigeration, put it in a little cooler. That would be fine. I'll have snacks and water. And then when we come back from practice, or from lunch rather, we'll do some more practice. And we'll also talk about all the props. We're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about, you can spend a certain amount of money and buy a bunch of props, or you can use stuff at home, and does it make a difference? And which postures may work better at a home practice because of the props you have at home, as opposed to something you might see in a studio or a class setting that you have access to 2 bolsters and 14 blocks and 10 blankets and things. So, and then we're going to do another practice and then we'll be done for the day. But it's going to be a lot of talking about what restorative is and how it works for you. So what else have we got? So that's the basic itinerary and outline.
Yes. So the question is, what can we look forward to understanding better about our personal restorative practices?
What can we understand? What can we look forward to understanding more about our own personal practices?
Yes. How, well, I guess the question is, will we learn how to make it our own?
Yes, yes, because that's important. Whether you're in a class setting or you're wanting to do a pose or two at home, is how do you make it yours? Well, there's the $1 million question. Because if you're in a class setting and I'm the teacher, I'm telling you, here's the pose we're going to do. Here's how you're going to do it. Here's some props you might need. And if you need some assistance, let me know. But you're then responsible for making it comfortable. You're then responsible for understanding, what is it I'm looking for here? What is it I need to support here? Take child's pose. I was talking about child's pose in restorative last Saturday. And I've gotten to the point as I've gotten older that child's pose is one of the least comfortable restorative poses that I can do. It's incredibly uncomfortable. I've got 2 entirely different hips. So I have to have a lot of props. And when I'm doing it on my own, I can get real frustrated that it doesn't work the way I want it to.
Mhm.
So I have to kind of step back and take a breath and go, okay, what do I really need here? What do I want to feel physically? What do I want to feel on an emotional level? What is my mental state? What am I looking for in that? So you learn how to nitpick your practice, whether you're in a class or at home, so that, to me, restorative, and I say this in my classes all the time, restorative is the opposite of suffering. Yoga is the opposite of suffering, but restorative yoga is even more so. We'll talk also about the differences between the different styles of restorative. You'll sometimes see a restorative practice that is more of a yin practice. And we'll talk about the difference between yin and restorative. And not that one is better than the other, but that they've become, the lines between the two get blurrier and blurrier depending upon who's teaching. So you have to understand that you might be in a restorative class, but if your body is feeling a certain amount of resistance, or you're feeling a certain amount of stretch, you might actually be doing the pose as a yin pose and not as a restorative. So understanding what we're looking for in the 2 postures gives you a lot more information so that when you get feedback from your body, you're able to read that feedback better and you're able to then translate it into support. What am I looking for? So yeah, that's going to be the bulk of the conversation. No matter what we're talking about, we're going to talk, it's always going to kind of cycle back to, and now how do you get this into your practice?
Right.
Right? Anything else?
And so just real last thing is, what do we need to bring? If we
You
bring a
don't need
lunch, we're
to.
responsible for lunch, but do we
Yes.
need to bring bolsters? Should we bring our own equipment?
I've got plenty of all of that. I've got bolsters, blankets, blocks, all of that. If you want to bring your own, please feel free to, right? Just, not a problem, but you don't have to. If you want to bring your own mat, bring your own mat, but I have mats. So, and I've got all of the toys and tools. So whatever you want to bring that's going to make you a little more comfortable. If you want to bring your own eye pillow, if you have an eye pillow at home, bring those. We probably won't use the sandbags. I do in my classes use sandbags quite a bit, but not everybody's going to have a sandbag at home. It's not the thing that most people buy. Eye pillows are easy to find. Blankets, bolsters, blocks are easy to find. Sandbags, not so much. And I may come back and do a whole 2 or 3 hour workshop later on all about how to use sandbags because they're awesome. I like sandbags. They're a little hard to maneuver on your own, but they're worth it. So, and what else for us? Yeah,
So what I'm understanding is this class is honestly for everyone, whether I've never done restorative or if I have been doing it for years with you.
Yes.
It's also going to teach me how to personalize my practice to my specific needs. And it's going to go deeper into like breathing and how to calm my central nervous system and what that actually means and why we want to do it. And then we're going to have like some handouts and a little notebook. And so probably just bring like maybe a pen and some water and then my lunch if I want it. And
That's pretty much it.
yeah. Well, it sounds
That's
really
it.
exciting. It sounds
I
like it's the
know.
best parts of, you always say when you go off on a tangent or whatever, but that's sometimes the best parts. This sounds like it's a workshop of just you finally getting to tell us what you want us to know.
Maybe, but I want a lot of feedback too. So I want people to come with their questions, come with their concerns. Maybe they've been in a restorative and they loved everything but that one pose. Right? There was one pose that just sucked. And for me, it's child's pose. But maybe
For
they
me, it's
didn't
the
like.
twist. My body doesn't want to do the twist over the bolster. That's my
Exactly.
hard one.
So we'll talk about that. How do you adjust? It's going to be a small enough group. I'm looking for maybe no more than 10 people. So it's a small, intimate group. It's not going to be 30 people in here practicing. 10 people in here bringing their own questions to the community, and we're going to solve them together, I hope.
Yeah.
But I love restorative. I think restorative is incredibly needed in our culture anymore. We live in a world where even the calmest person among us is stressed in ways that we don't even recognize. And I'm probably going to plan another, some sort of bigger workshop for in the fall or late summer. I talk about stress all the time, and it's just time to get back to doing these concentrated workshops. 2020 was a long time ago. We're over it.
Yes.
We've moved on, and it's time to bring back these in-person workshops so that we can really dive deep into a particular subject related around our health and wellness so that we can then communicate together as a group.
Right.
And explore these together. I don't mind online trainings and I don't mind online workshops. The problem is they're very limited in the ability to get that back and forth between the student and the instructor or the students themselves.
Right.
The attendees have a lot more information than they realize, And when they start to share it among themselves, sometimes the teacher steps back and lets that be the workshop, and we miss that when
Yes.
we're all on Zoom. And I don't mind Zoom. I think it's great. It's facilitated an awful lot of our being able to get yoga out into the world. But that personal one-on-one time or 10-on-1 time, the in-person workshops are starting to make a comeback, and I couldn't be happier about it. But I
Yeah.
think the next one is going to be all about stress. It's
Nice.
a massive subject.
Yes.
And trying to work the curriculum for this restorative and only talk briefly about stress has been very stressful for me. You can't talk about this massive subject for just a few minutes. I can't anyway. So I'm looking forward to planning another one down the road that's all about why. What do we talk about stress? What does that mean? And why is it important to understand that we have to be able to turn on the relaxation response? And that's what restorative gives us. It gives us a richer opportunity to turn on the relaxation response so that the body is comfortable in a particular pose. And then we're left there to marinate in that posture for 10 minutes, right? And really feel, marinating. I love that word when it comes to restorative, because when we marinate something, we're usually breaking down the fibrous vegetables, the fibrous connective tissue for meat products, that sort of thing. That marinade tenderizes things, right? And that's what we do restorative. We tenderize the body, mind, and spirit, and we marinate. And it's harder practice. It's a harder practice to marinate than you think, because for a lot of us, it's the squirrel in here running around on its wheel that's hard to quiet down, not so much the tissues of the body. But if that squirrel's running around the tissues of the body, you're a little bit tighter than you might want.
Yes, definitely.
Did we have any more questions about the practice?
That was it.
Well,
I just want to say that I
everyone...
have seen the notebooks for the class, and they are adorable.
They turned out great. I thought they turned out great. So it's March 15th. I still have about 3 or 4 spots open. So if you want to pop in, you can get with me. You can do it online. The early bird special has passed, I'm afraid. But I will tell you, if you're watching the vlog and you say, oh, I think I'll do that, and you reach out to me directly, I'll give you a cash discount. So you can pay cash, and I'll give you a little discount. That way I don't have to pay the online fees and such, the merchant services fees and all of that. So if you want to do that, I'll give you a little break. But I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me, Rebecca.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited for the class.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
The restorative immersion. It's going to be fun.
Bye, everybody. I hope you'll come.
Bye-bye.
Bye.